What is up, everybody? Thursday night, 7:30. We're in the pit with Josh the Mosh, like we do every week or every chance we can. So let's get it going. Numero dos, what is happening, my man?
Man, what's up, everybody? I am super excited about today's show. We've got a lot to talk about. Texas Indie Showcase is 2 days away now.
Saturday.
We have far and away the biggest promoter on this show. No offense, Josh. The biggest promoter that we've ever had on this show. Former wrestler, current wrestler, even if we want to get technical about it, like he's wrestling right now. He's doing death matches right now. This is someone that's promoting for a worldwide product, and we have him on the show today to talk about his San Antonio shows coming up. That's right, Danny DeManto, ICW No Holds Barred owner, promoter, and wrestler, is here with us this evening. So if you're from the Deathmatch community and you're joining us, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Such a happy occasion we're here.
Can feel the energy off of you, man. I know you're super pumped.
I'm excited about this. Danny doesn't do a ton of interviews, so I'm super excited to talk about it. We, the Borrachos crew, has had a great year with ICW, just as fans, just being able to interact with them, and you're going to find out today, ICW's promoter cares a lot about fans, much like you do, Josh. He interacts a lot with his fans on social media, so I'm super excited about this. I'm ready to go.
Well, let's get it going. I guess we kind of flipped the schedule a little bit, but it's just us, so we can touch on the
argument. Let's be real about it. We got into an argument in the chat. Bradley tried to go main card twice in a row, and Mel said, "Get the fuck back down to the undercard where you belong, Bradley." So today I am going first, but that's okay. That's okay. It's all good. We didn't really get into a fight. We're always copacetic.
There's never any issues behind the scenes.
There's never any issues behind the scenes because we fight out front. We sell tickets and we fight in the ring. Y'all, we know what y'all want to see. And by the way, you won't see the Puro Bro this week. New Japan's freaking segment guy. I can't even think of the name to call him. He went to Vegas. Like, you can go to Vegas anytime, bro. Anyway, on to my two segments that I want to discuss today. I'm super excited because everybody's got a hot take on what I'm about to talk about. Matt Cardona beats Nick Gage in GCW's main event, which was a death match. It was not advertised as one, but it was definitely a death match. It was just right for the picking. And for those of y'all that haven't heard about this story, this Matt Cardona going into GCW's show, which was Homecoming Night 1, he had white hot heat. Like, this guy knew everything to say. And of course, he's a former WWE talent of 11 years. If anybody knows how to upset the fans, it's a WWE talent. So he really went with that. He started mocking them. He started calling them the GCW universe. Every chance he took, he was making fun of the deathmatch community and just poking fun at it. And he got white hot heat going into this. And first thing I want to say is, I'm a real big ICW guy. I don't pick sides, but I'm real big more like when I watch death matches, that's what I want to see. And this show, GCW, even though it's become more of a hybrid company, we watched it, and there was 2 death matches on the card, and that's not even what I want to really highlight first and foremost. The fans in that room, and I know everybody's got a hot take on the fans throwing beers and shit, but first and foremost, I want to applaud the fan base that was there. You haven't seen energy in a fan base like that in fucking years.
Decades.
GCW normally has in the showboat, GCW, ICW, all these guys that promote or that run in the showboat, it's not a long entrance, but these fans would pack this entrance, and I guess there was some extra distance to the ring or whatever it may be, and you got this fan cam of them coming down the aisle. So you're watching them try to go through. Nick Gage is busting through these guys, just trying to make it. It felt like WrestleMania 17 with that half a mile freaking entrance. Yeah. And when going through, he had security, had to surround him. And he came flying through. He's like middle fingers up, like he knew what to do. Go in there. He gets bloodied the fuck up. That was a white shirt moving into the match. Big shout out to Matt Cardona. Honestly, that dude walked the walk, talked the talk, got cut up from the toes up. Really good match, really good connection with the audience base. And this really puts GCW in a precarious predicament because now you're in a scenario where you have Nick Gage, who is a deathmatch guy, and he's the company champion, and you have Alex Colon, who's the deathmatch champion of that company. Both of them lose their titles that night. Both of them to people who are not officially part of the GCW roster. Drew Parker came over from BJW from Japan. The BJW recently crowned BJW champion, by the way. He comes over and beats Alex Colon 1, 2, 3, just like that. Amazing match. I'm a bigger fan of John Wayne Murdoch myself. So that's
as we are here in the pit.
As we are here in the pit, I was happy to see Cologne eat the L on that one. But I really want to highlight Matt Cardona, because everybody talks about death matches and are they necessary? Are they this? Are they that? Like, you got to really talk about Matt Cardona, who came into this match and said, I'll bleed buckets. I'll bleed more than a lot of guys do in their death matches. Not that that's a stab at anyone, but I'm saying as a first timer, Matt Cardona was gushing, and it looked good. Like, you got to shout it out to him. Everyone says that deathmatch wrestling is crap, and you guys all know that I don't fucking agree with your shitty opinion when you come at me with that crap. Those of y'all that don't say that, I appreciate y'all. Y'all in my world. Y'all mean everything to me. But what I am saying,
fuck the haters.
Legitimately, Matt Cardona said, deathmatch wrestling is important. It's something I want to do, and I've got your title now. I'm going to Disneyland. He went to
taking it to Disneyland. Yeah, he said he was going to do it, and he did.
He's winning the game. And honestly, people were throwing beers. And here's my take on this: if you were mad at people throwing beers, you have lost all sense of everything. I get the whole importance of, like, oh, it's dangerous, it's this, it's that. All those bottles were metal, like with that cheap tin.
Yeah,
it doesn't do anything when it's empty. Like, I get it, it's dangerous, but at the same time, Bash at the Beach, ECW, sometimes the fans elevate that shit in that moment. And honestly, I have one take, and this is my last take, and I'm ready to put this out there, and then I'm done with it. Matt Cardona comes into deathmatch wrestling, and it legitimizes not that it needed it, but it legitimizes the fan base behind deathmatch wrestling. Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, a former WWE guy, looked toward the community and said, I want to come over there. I want to try this. I want to do it. I want to prove I'm about everything. And Matt Cardona proved everybody wrong. Everybody said deathmatch wrestling was crap, and it wasn't. Everybody said Matt Cardona sucked, and he did it. Everybody said he couldn't main event, and he did. And the reality of it is, people are really not mad that Cardona is the champion. People are mad that they're wrong. And fan base needs to stop being pissy about not getting their fucking predictions right. Because honestly, that's part of the fucking game. When you read a book, you guess the ending. When you watch a movie, you're trying to figure out who killed him. At the end of the movie, when it's this guy and not that guy, am I going to write the director? No, fuck that. I'm going to go about my shit and continue on, because you know what? Sometimes we all deserve to get swerved. Sometimes we all deserve to not see shit coming. If you had called that match, you would have said GCW was lame for not pulling the trigger. So that is my response to all the Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, Deathmatch, Nick Gage, whatever you can do, whatever. That's my response to you. You'd have been as equally pissed if GCW had let Nick Gage win, and that proves that you are a shitty fan and nothing would have made you happy. Matt Cardona, shout out to you. Nick Gage, shout out to you. Everybody that's killing their game in wrestling, shout out to you. Keep working it hard. We love you. That's my 9 minutes. I think I'm actually over for a couple, so I'm going to let you go.
And the thing I just want to kind of piggyback on what you said, like, you get mad if it's not how you wanted it to be or how you thought it was going to be. Like, I'm the total opposite of that shit. Like, I hate fucking knowing everything that's going to happen. I hate being right and knowing, oh, he's going to win. And I've been watching this thing for 4 decades. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard for me to get swerved. Yeah. so like when it happens, I'm just like, hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, sadly, it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
And I kind of why I promote the way I do for my shows. But that's a whole other topic for another day. We can talk about that next week.
Let's just have some surprises. Y'all don't have to know everything. It's not the worst thing in the world if you get tricked.
Exactly. And we mentioned his name a few times, Gage. I know it was mostly Cardona, but I'm going to put this comment back up here in regards to Gage on AEW, which will lead us into our AEW segment. And here is our AEW Edgar. So welcome in. Though,
hey guys, I was just gonna go right into it because it goes right into what you were saying, dude. Last week when they announced that the second labor was gonna be Nick effing Gage, I lost my damn mind because I never thought in a million years, with all these doors being wide open, with all these forbidden doors being kicked down, that I would ever see Nick Gage on a cable wrestling show. So when he announced Nick Gage, I was the one like falling off my chair, screaming my head off. I was like, holy shit. I mean,
TNT. Like not just a cable channel, you know, like TNT. You know, TNT. NBA finals, like, you know what I mean? The history of TNT, baseball, like, that's major. Exactly. That's fucking major in America.
And when I saw the match last night, you guys know I'm not a huge deathmatch fan or hardcore match fan, but I respect it. Dude, I respect what they did out there. They did what they did for TV. And I was laughing my ass off when I saw some of the fans in the front row get like splattered with glass. And I was like, holy shit, they're freaking out. I was like, I don't know why it made me think of you so much, Brad. I was thinking of you and I was dying because they're like, oh, glass is on me. I was like, you need to calm down. I was like, it's just glass and you'll be all right.
Yeah, the trick is don't use your hand to wipe it off.
Yeah, exactly.
I learned that really quick. I've only been to really kind of one kind of sort of thing, and yeah, I learned that real quick. Just shake it off.
I'm gonna be honest. My husband, we were watching it because we watched the replay together. He thought that they were just teasing the light light tubes. He was like, nah, they're not gonna use them. No way they're gonna use them. And then when he took it, we were like, okay, he took it. No way is Jericho gonna take it. Jericho took it like a damn champ. I loved it from beginning to end because I was so shocked.
And Jericho being 30 years in the business and still.
There's a rule in the deathmatch community that when we go in this match, we go in it together. There's none of this like I'll take it all, you take none of it. Like everybody gives, and that's what we were talking about with amongst the Borrachos. Is like Nick Gage is the kind of guy that if Jericho goes and plays along, they'll have a great match. But if Jericho tries to puss out, Nick Gage is gonna be like, nah, homie, I'll go 100%. I'll slice you up.
He went,
and Jericho knows that though.
Yeah.
I think Jericho, he did. I think he did justice. I mean,
did great. Yeah,
Jericho knew what he was getting into, and that's really impressive for him. Like he knew what he had. He knew what plate he had to step up to,
and he didn't have to.
Exactly.
That's the thing is like people are like, oh, it's because the laborers and blah blah blah. It's the story. It's like no, like Jericho does what the fuck Jericho wants to do at this point. 30 years in the business.
Yep.
One of the original AEW people. I know he's not an executive vice president, but I guarantee you he has as much say, if not more, than anybody else in that company.
Of course.
And he fucking brought he worked Nick Gage on Dynamite.
Absolutely. I absolutely loved it. And then, I lost my mind and I thought, okay, I honestly thought that should have been like the 4th or 5th labor. I was like, how do you top that? I don't understand how you top it.
I love Hoovy juice.
What?
I love Hoovy, but I mean, I love Hoovy, but come on.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think though? With or without the mask? Which one we getting? We getting with or without the mask?
With.
Both.
Start with and out.
He'll come out with the mask and he'll take it off for the match, I bet. That's what he does. That's what he did when he came down for AAW down here a couple years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. I vote both. I vote on.
I think so too. I would like to see him though with the whole with the mask on it and then like have Jericho rip it off at the end. Honestly. I mean, he's already kind of lost it, but I still think it'd be really cool.
Oh yeah,
I'll still totally pop for it if it happens.
Yeah, but I do like.
Me. I like that's as violent as I get. I like violent lucha where you just rip the mask off, like fuck you.
Yeah, but I do kind of agree. Like it being the second labor. I know I'm kind of backtracking, but
no, it's cool.
That had to have been. That should have been. I mean, unless I don't know what they have planned.
It was the third labor, wasn't it?
Yeah, so now Gage is the third.
No, I'm still on Gage. Because
Gage was the second. Yeah.
Like, how do you go from a no rules match to you have to finish off the top rope when he fucking literally did a Hurricane Rana off the top rope through glass sheet in the match he just did, making it sound like, oh, you don't go on the top rope. Like he just fucking did it. So I have a problem with that. Sorry. I'm super stoked to see Hoovy juice though, but he did jump off the top rope. He didn't do it for a finish, but
no, he didn't do it for a finish, but he also had help with that move. Where Gage, they had to work together. So if this is a move that Jericho has to do on his own, I can see that it can't be anybody touching him. He has to do a move on his own off the top rope.
But I mean, could be a crossbody off the top. Like, I don't know. It's just
that's true.
But I'm not like most of them that already have my mind made up that I'm pissed off. I'm gonna wait and see.
No.
I'm gonna wait and see what happens, and then I can be pissed off afterwards. The order is supposed to be.
Labors. Yeah, I'm already loving all this labor stuff. I can't wait. If this is what 1, 2, and 3 are, it's just so funny. My husband honestly thought for labor number 3, he was like, it's got to be Big Show or Mark Henry. It's gonna be Big Show or Mark Henry, right? He's got to have to do something crazy, like lift him up or something. Yeah.
Triple threat or a handicap match. Some crap.
I love the
new
fact
order.
That I love the fact that they circled all the way back around to like this old feud. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, and I like how they tied in and showed the old footage of like Google it, kid. Yeah, I did Google it. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
It's really smart how they're doing it. You know,
and MJF makes it. You know what I mean? Like him on the mic and talking the way he does is what really is elevating it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean Jericho's name, like, but I mean MJF still deserves credit. Like, I mean, I know I put him over every time we talk about him, but holy fuck, man, he's on the mic. He's just shit, man. Like I said, he's so great. He's so great.
He really is. I mean, the guy could wrestle once a year and still be totally over because of the way he is on the mic. So, I mean, how many people can say that though? You know,
he does. It's a very short list right now. Like ever, there's a list, but right now, I don't know if anyone's even in his fucking category.
In his wheelhouse. Yeah. No. You know, the other things that happened last night, I mean, right off the bat, they started like the show off so awesome. You know, they had the Dark Order versus the Elite Squad, and the Dark Order comes out, and I didn't know if you guys caught this. Some people caught it. There was an empty spotlight at the end.
Yeah, that was right there.
There was an empty spotlight at the end. I was like, oh, that like.
Right in the field.
Actually, I know. And then somebody actually made a graphic of it and put like a little shadow of Brody Lee, which was really cool. But yeah, right in the fields, man. I'm telling you, that was brutal. That was brutal.
Yeah, I love it.
But it was really cool. But it was really cool the way that they came out. I loved the entrances. I loved the whole Elite Squad thing, tying back into Space Jam, which I'm sure was their sponsor. But I just thought it was great. They played into it so well. The match was amazing. I take nothing away from it. Hangman is definitely gunning for the championship, and I'm so ready. The way they built it up over the year.
2 years, like the whole
2 years. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years. And then, you know, with the sudden loss of Brody Lee, I'm sure they've had to take a detour and change up the way things, change up how things were. And it still seemed like they didn't even miss a step. They did it so well, and they did it so respectfully. It's great. The Dark Order with Hangman is just to see them all lined up was beautiful. It was a thing to behold. It was so great. Yeah. It was just, you know, I really like the way they're doing the shows. Even like, I think they're playing into the fans with the whole Darby talking about best in the world. I don't care if you're best in the world. I think that they're messing with the fans. I don't see CM Punk coming back, but that just could be me. And I'm like, you won't get me. You won't get me. But I still like popped for it, but I was like, oh.
And the Big Show announcement is in Chicago, the first dance.
Yes.
Like,
it's in Chicago. I was like,
man, they're gonna get. I mean, they're possibly gonna get like heat if he doesn't fucking come at this point.
But I'm okay with that.
I'm just saying that, you know how everybody is, but
I know it'll be so bad if it's not him. But at the same time, I will be laughing, and I'm like, I refuse to let you get me, AEW. I refuse. It's not CM Punk, and you're messing with us. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say it right now.
I bet it is.
I bet it's
but
both
if it is, I'm okay with it. If it is, I'm fine. I'll pop for it. But I'm like, you're not going to get me.
You got to think about it. MMA doesn't want him. Interviewing.
He's not good enough. No.
Other sports don't want him.
MMA probably does want him because they sell the shit ton of fucking tickets with his name on it. He's not good enough to be in MMA. Let's just get that. Like, he's not good enough. They will sell out any show they put his face on the poster, even though he's the opening fight.
Yeah.
But he's not good enough. He's not good enough.
No.
It's too late for him. It's too late for him. He focused on jiu-jitsu for 15 years and realized, I'm going to go do MMA. He's like, well, you know, MMA is mixed. That means more than one discipline. And, you know, it's not a jiu-jitsu tournament because that's what he's actually decent at. But anyway, that's someone that trained in MMA before and fought. Yeah, he's not good enough.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm pretty sure I would take him.
Wow.
Take his shit. Yeah.
Josh just called him out.
He can't. Even though I don't think I can cut down to his little weight class, but I think I can take him.
Fighting up in there.
Anyway, this isn't an MMA show. We can make a special edition for that.
I'm all for it. I love the direction they're going in. I'm so happy with the direction they're going in. I almost lost my shit when I found out that Tanahashi was on there, but they're going to Japan. I'm okay. I had to calm down a little bit. I thought maybe for a second he was going to be in AEW, but they're going to do the match in Japan, which I had to calm down a little bit because I was like, holy shit. How many more doors can you bust open, guys? How many? I mean,
that's all but the one door that's never going to get busted.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only one staying shut.
But
because they're still bigger than all the other ones put together still, whether we like it or not. No matter how much their shit sucks on TV, they're still bigger than everybody.
Yeah, and that's fine. Let them stay over there in their little corner because you know what? I'm enjoying the Impact, AEW, New Japan, NWA.
Everybody. And then all our indie people popping in every chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for the Texas crowd. I'm so happy for the Texas girls getting their shot on AEW Dark, finally showcasing what they can do. And especially all the local talent, not just Texas, but Kenzie Page was on the show last night because she's in the area. We have, she's been in Texas. So just supporting all the indie talent that's out there that people who are trapped in these sometimes big wrestling bubbles and they can't get out of it. They don't see all the talent that's around them. I mean, Ember Moon came from somewhere, all these girls and all these guys came from somewhere. I don't understand how, I don't understand how the argument, we talked about it before, how the argument is still, oh, you guys are picking up all these WWE jobbers. And I'm like, do you not know where WWE picks them up from, guys?
There's like a handful.
No, they don't.
Less than a handful of people that didn't come from somewhere.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
Like majors, there's like 3. And one of them doesn't even fucking wrestle, but like once every 2 years.
Yeah. I was like,
when he's the champ. When he's the champ. Anyway. Yeah. And he's still and he even technically still did come from somewhere, but that was there before they had NXT and stuff. But
yeah, exactly. It's sometimes you just want to get on and be like, you do realize there's something outside your little bubble. There's Impact, there's ROH. That's where a lot of those guys came from.
Like, they weren't rookies when they showed up on fucking Raw. Like that's just
exactly.
Hello.
Yeah. Do they not realize why AJ Styles gets a pop before he even debuted?
Yeah, exactly. At a fucking Royal Rumble, he pops.
Exactly.
Holy crap! It's like, oh man, this guy's so great. It's like, yeah, he's been great for 15 years already. Like, where have y'all been? So, like, I have faded fucking AJ Styles shirts and autographs from 15 years ago.
That's right.
Like, hello.
I have a best friend shirt from like 3-4 years ago, guys. My dad's got a Cheeseburger shirt. If you don't know who Cheeseburger is, my dad knows who he is. Go check him out. My dad thinks it's hilarious.
Google it, kids.
Yeah, exactly.
One more thing I wanted to also just give a shout out to someone that I think it was even last week's episode, though. I don't know if I forgot to, but that was referenced as receiving a Road Warrior pop when her music hit. And I think she almost hit that level again this week. And that's our Thunder Rosa, who we've, big fans of her in the pit. I mean, I know it wasn't a Road Warrior pop, but like with these days, like it was a hell of a pop. But Taz to say that, and for Taz to say it, like, he tries to put everybody over, but it was a huge pop. Up there with everybody else in that whole fucking company. So I just want to shout that out. Respect to Thunder Rosa, our first guest in the pit ever. We've had her, and I think, is she the only multiple time guest? I think we had Chandler.
No, I think we had Chandler. We've had Chandler on a couple times too. But
Chandler was an official guest twice. But anyway,
it was an amazing pop because I was there front row for the Austin show. Shout out to her again for the tickets. Thank you very much. It was my first live AEW show, and I absolutely lost my mind. If Angel was here, he'd tell you that because I was screaming in his ear probably the whole time because he was on the floor in front of me, and I was yelling my heart out. But she got probably one of the biggest pops of the night, maybe second loudest pop of the night. It was amazing, and I'm just real proud of her. She's officially all elite, but yeah, it's
just amazing. Shout out to Ace too. He didn't click the link to make his name show, but a lot of that gear came from Ace's Google that shit too while y'all at it, Googling everything. We're gonna give y'all like a list to Google after the pit.
All local talent, guys, not just local talent, but local like makers and doers and artists that are making their gear, designing their gear, creating their gear, their boots. Damn.
Hall of Famers wearing Aces stuff. Just saying.
Absolutely, man. Guys, thank you guys so much for letting me in. I appreciate it. I'm excited for the interview. Whew. This is like an exciting time for wrestling, and I'm so excited. Like I said, I'm not big into deathmatch and hardcore, but even I was watching the Gage Cardona match, so if that says the level of where it was at, and even I was just like, I was so invested. But I am gonna say that if I was there, I probably would have thrown a beer bottle too. I was like, what the fuck? I would have happily thrown it. Sorry, Meltzer, but I would have thrown it.
Yeah, with his nasty husband, can't even keep his own face clean. Thank you so much. On that note, we'll let you go. Appreciate it.
Woo.
Right. We got so hyped up, we just lost track of time. So let's just bring Numero Uno in and let's get it going. He can touch a little bit of lucha and then lead us into our special guest. How you doing, Mr. Numero Uno?
Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing today?
Did I botch that? Should I say El Numero Uno? It's Mr. You Numero El Spanglish, Tex-Mex, whatever. What's going on, man?
Man, we gotta start with some bad news. 3 days a day on the 26th, Super Porky passed away. He had a heart attack and he couldn't make it. As soon as that happened, the partner of Super Porky called Psycho Clown because that's his son, and he lived like pretty close by, like walking distance from his dad. He tried to do CPR on him and he couldn't do anything. He was already dead by the time he got there. He tried to resuscitate him and just he couldn't. He was a little bit too late, and we lost. We lost a good one. He was Japan. He had one of the most known rivalries in Torneo de Cuatro Caminos against Los Villanos, which ended up in a wager match, masks versus masks, where Los Brazos ended up losing their mask. But I feel like that was a blessing for him because after that, when he became Super Porky, he just went like skyrocketed.
Nice.
Yeah, and there's I have a little fun fact about him. Martinez Entertainment did a show, not benefit, but like to honor his legacy, like a few years ago. They wanted to do it while he was alive, and we had a little kind of like a Q&A, and one of the stories is that I don't know if you remember, but he did MMA. He had a few MMA fights in Japan, Valetudo.
Wow.
And
Valetudo, that's legit.
Yeah, he had a few of those in Japan. So he was talking about all the things he done. He also talked about how one time they just someone booked him, but they didn't tell him where or anything. They just told him that they were gonna call him when the day got closer and give him more details. And he said that when they picked him up, he had to get blindfold, and they took him into a shady ass place, and it was like an underground battle type of thing, like a fight, like legit underground. Yeah, and he's like, he was like, that's one of the times where I was actually scared for my life because I had to fight no matter what. If I tried to leave, they were gonna kill me. But if the fight was literally, until your opponent couldn't move no more, like you had to completely knock him out. So it was
or choke him out, yeah.
Yeah, fight or die. So he had to fight.
Yeah, Valetudo was no joke, and if you kick it up that level, oh shit, because that's been around longer than UFC.
Yeah, and one of the things that I like, it got stuck to me. I still remember clearly how he said it. He was like, he was trying to get back into wrestling because that like 3-4 years ago he wasn't wrestling. He was just touring, doing meet and greets and all that stuff. But he said he wanted to get back in shape and wrestle. And before he retired, he wanted actually to do a death match. That would have been crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting. I never expected it to hear that. Even though the matches against Los Villanos in Torneo de Cuatro Caminos were like crazy.
Pretty high.
That's what they called the beginning of death matches. Because back then they used to literally beat the shit out of each other with whatever they could find at the arena. They will grab the coolers and throw them. The whole row of the bleachers, they will throw them at their opponents. You know, they used to use the beer bottles and bust their heads open with beer bottles.
Nice.
You know that's
the good old days.
In a way, that's like kind of like the beginning of death matches, if you think about it. And he had some of the craziest matches. If you have time to look him up on YouTube, like his matches at Torneo de Cuatro Caminos were just some of the bloodiest matches.
Google it.
You'll ever see.
That's the theme of the night. Google it.
Yep.
Well, speaking of crazy matches and crazy matchups, I'm gonna let Numero Dos take over the introduction of our guest, who is ready to jump in the pit. Man, fiddly with enough, right?
From one pit to another.
Man, this is our day. The Deathmatch boys have invited a guest to join us, and we have brought none other than the ICW promoter, owner, and current Deathmatch wrestler in the said promotion, Danny DeManto. Please join us in the pit. What's up, Danny?
I love that this is called the pit.
You were in the pit. You know that you've been there before.
I've been there a time or two.
How's it going, Danny? How's everything going up there right now?
You know, a little busy, a little on the busy side for sure.
2 shows in San Antonio coming up, huh?
Yes, sir. And I learned officially today I'm doing the drive. Yeah.
Good luck with that. I drove to Tournament of Death, but before going to Tournament of Death, I had to stop by in New York just to sightseeing since I didn't have anything else to do before Tournament of Death, and I hated that drive. I will never drive that far again.
Yeah, in the name of love for the business, I have to be in that car for some reason. So, you guys, yes, sir. We're leaving Tuesday night.
Fuck, man.
So I'm hoping to get there probably like the early morning of Thursday. Probably.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know you were driving.
Yeah, well, I was on the fence about it. Like, okay, so I have a car going, and it just makes more sense for me to go in it than, meet the car there. Because we got to get the chains there. We got to get the platforms there. We got to get the merch there and stuff like that. So I have to take one for the team this time.
Well, you'll be able to see it all between New Jersey and here. There's not much, Vegas.
Hopefully I'm going to see a lot of sleeping.
You'll have plenty of time to get some sleep in.
Plenty of time. That's a bit of
absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a day and 4 hours straight if we were to do it straight. But
yeah,
to San Antonio. Yeah, it's like 26 to 27 hours.
But there's 2 drivers in the car, so we'll see.
Nice.
So what's up? Hit me with the good shit.
So we are here to talk about ICW mostly. I know that I've come stacked with a bunch of questions. So my first question is just going to be probably the most boring one. What made you finally come to Texas?
What made me finally come to Texas? Just pulling the trigger on it. I wanted to come to Texas, when I was still running my former company. Those stars just never aligned back then. Right. Texas, obviously you guys know the history of hardcore wrestling in Texas. It borders Mexico. There's just so many reasons of why we would bring this style of wrestling to Texas. Plus, for obvious business reasons, I did want to get into the state before next year's WrestleMania, since WrestleMania is going there.
Yep.
So I wanted to be able to, dip our hat into the pool or whatever you want to say, in Texas. But, once Heavy Metal reached out to me, and was like blah 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 blah. We'll help you with this, and made it. It was just too easy, to turn down.
And you've come out of the gate swinging. I mean,
yeah,
Masada's coming with you. Scott Summers is coming to the chains. Like, that's huge.
I mean, Scott Summers has been my guy for a lot of years. I'll give you a little inside scoop that not many people know. Scott Summers was supposed to win the first tournament of Survival. If he didn't break his ankle, he was winning tournament of Survival.
Shit.
I had put a lot of stock into expecting Scott Summers to be like in my eyes, Scott Summers got cheated. Well, not cheated, but when he got hurt, he missed that very large boom in deathmatch wrestling that was going to happen, and he was going to be a very large part of it. But then when his ankle broke, not only did his ankle break, so there was a long recovery. Once he recovered, he wasn't even really recovered. So he pretty much missed the entire boom, and here we are today. But like he's I've always been in contact with him because we have a lot of common interest, and like I broke my leg kind of about like a year or two before he broke his ankle, so we kind of like bonded on that spectrum. It's just one of those people that my Rolodex is very deep, and when I go to certain areas, I always hit up my boys from that area that I could pull out these like weird, like a Bruce Santee in Florida. Nobody really remembered or knew who Bruce Santee was before I ran those shows, but he's a diamond in the rough when it comes to this style. And Scott Summers, same thing. And Schlack, he's on Schlack's, wish list. So I'm killing two birds with one stone. And who else am I going to put a maniac like that against?
I mean, that's a big match. You talk about a hoss fight inside the chains that also has deathmatch potential, great potential. Like, that's going to be a banger of a match, man.
Yeah, and you have no idea what's going to happen. Like, are they going to just fucking brawl? Are they going to just fight each other? Or is there going to just be 1,000 light tubes and they're going to just be maniacs? And to be honest, neither one of them probably know. It's gonna probably just be one of those feeling it out there.
And that's when it's the best, in my opinion.
The first time I ever saw Scott Summers was at On Point Wrestling in New Jersey against Nick Gage. And I was like, wait, who's this dude? Upon entrance, like he used to come out with that crazy ass mask. I don't want to compare it to something, but when I saw it, I was like, this dude looks like somebody that would play for Slipknot. And I mean, the match was amazing, and he's a very believable badass, and that's what I look for in guys in No Holds Barred. I don't look for those flippers or any small little dude that looks like he could get beat up in a bar fight, like Akira. He's as pussy as it gets around here.
I love the Akira plug. Like, Akira's story in No Holds Barred has really been an amazing one. Like that match with Matt Tremont that he had at, what was it, 3? No Holds Barred 3, right? Because he fought at 2 and then he fought Matt Tremont at 3. Like, that's just something that always sticks out in my mind. Like
the last year, if you step back and look at it, the Akira story has been written very beautifully.
Yeah,
like you guys watch it as it's been going on, so it's like, oh, banger match after banger match after banger match. But if Smart Mark Video was smart, they would get back on that whole Best of the Indies series they used to put out, because imagine they would put out like a documentary style like shoot interview documenting Akira's last 365 days, from pretty much from the roof to Boardwalk Buds, even. You know what I mean? Or if you want to even extend it to after Masada. But there's so many more roads for Akira. You know what I mean? Like there's so many more lessons for Akira to go through. And I love that I'm able to, dangle the strings every step of the way.
I like that Akira is always trying to be innovative and different. A lot of guys will go out and do the same death match over and over again. But Akira has gone to great lengths to be different in each of it. Like he's brought out that new bullet piece that he's got, that pool cue.
Yo, I hate it. I hate it so fucking much. Yo, I yelled at him. So I'll peel the curtain back for a second. I wrestled him at that AWR tournament.
Yeah,
and he used them things on me, and I was yelling at him. I was like, yo, stop fucking doing it. It fucking hurts. Stop fucking doing it. And then we got to the back, like my head was all like lumped up. I was like, what's the point of this? What is the point of this? It's like a Kenzan being repeatedly jabbed into your head over and over and over and over again. I was like, no one wants to go through that at all. You fucking little piece of shit.
That's true. Hammer's got a good point. He's made it stick. Stick.
Sometimes he makes it stick. Sometimes he doesn't. He's about a fucking 50-50 shot. And it hurts a lot. I'm not trying to, get Akira's little gimmick over. I'm being straight up fucking honest. The thing fucking hurts. And, but one thing that I was going to say before we started taking shots about the bullet is Akira's the reason why Akira is trying to be so different is that Akira was not going to be a deathmatch wrestler.
Right.
He very much it kind of just fell into that realm, but he's still a huge fan of pro wrestling. I learned that even more just like being in that match with him. He wanted to do so much pro wrestling, and I was like, dude, we're gonna beat each other up and bleed. Like I don't even know what these kicks that you're talking about are, or can I remember them? So I don't know.
That was a good thing about his matches with Ruben when you brought him in to the change the first time, or not? His match with Ruben. They really wrestled for the first 4 or 5 minutes of that death match.
Oh, he loves doing the wrestling and leading into the story of the death match, and that's what makes Akira a little bit different than other guys his style and his size that are willing to do death matches. It's more of that hybrid style, in comparison to like Eric Ryan or Oren and stuff like that. They've all developed pretty much this new hybrid style of deathmatch wrestling. It's like mixed with like it tries to mix a bunch of different styles into deathmatch wrestling, and I enjoy watching it.
Yeah,
I enjoy watching it done by that elite level of guys. Yeah. I mean, there's some people that try to dip into there, and it doesn't really work out for them.
We had a question in the chat from Aaron Mercer. Bullets or gussets, which is worse? Real quick, those are kind of the questions we had at the end of the interview. But just
bullets or gussets.
I'll put it back up on
it. A gusset plate really sucks, but it goes in one spot and comes out of that one spot. So it sucks for like the second that it's in there. The bullet is a repeated pain over and over and over again every single time he's poking you. So it's two totally different things. Does a gusset suck? Yes. It makes you gush blood, and there's no way around it. It's a piece of metal that holds up a house. So no, of course it sucks. But the bullet he's doing this. That's what he's doing with pretty much a little baby Kenzan in your head. And
ICW is kind of known for the gusset game. Like ICW is it's a mainstay at ICW. Like that's one thing I always think of when people talk to me about, I'd love to do a death match in ICW. I'm like, well, I hope you're ready for gussets. Like, and to me, that's kind of a testament of like toughness of who you have to be to step in the chains.
Most people, before using them, are definitely spooked out by them. That's for sure.
Yeah, that match of Danny Havoc against Masada.
Oh,
where
Jesus
he hits him
Christ.
in the arm. I was like, oh.
No.
Speaking of CZW, Juan and I were talking earlier today, and Juan had a question for you.
Yeah, tell us about your match for the world title.
What world title?
The CZW, the one against Gacy.
Oh, so I was wrestling Joe Gacy for I think the company is called Titan Championship Wrestling. It was about a year ago. It was like a year and a week ago. And I convinced I convinced Joe's wife, Amy, to bring the CZW belt. And I was like, yo, if you get it into the car and you get it to the show, I'll do the rest. And I was like, Joe, why don't you just put the belt on the line? And, blah, 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 blah. And I beat him. And, obviously DJ didn't make that decision. We made that decision at the show. But, like, CZW didn't run even, like, right before that, let alone, like, right before, you know what I mean? Like, it was already dead. DJ was already canceled, by the cancel culture for being a weirdo creep. So we were just trying to have fun. And then, like, of course, the DJ High Horse came and he was like, Joe, why would you do that? Blah, 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 blah. It hurts the company's history. And yeah, he was so upset. He was poor DJ.
That's all I can say is,
I think I'm the
idea of
first...
DJ Hyde talking about hurting CZW's history is the most possible thing to me.
And by hurting CZW's history is by putting his belt on me.
Right.
Like
a legitimized talent who will do actual wrestling, death match. Like at this point, you're so far in the fucking shitter. Putting the title on anyone and moving forward is a good idea.
He should have been happy that people were talking about CZW in the middle of the pandemic in a non-shitty way.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like he's a clown. He's always been a clown. He was a clown before he bought CZW. The first time I ever met DJ Hyde, he was carrying Sanjay Dutt's bags, and he drove all the way from Delaware to Virginia to pick up Sanjay to drive him to a show in New Jersey. Like that. That's the type of bitch DJ Hyde's always been.
God damn. Gotta love it. I mean, DJ.
I could ask you about how were you able to pull it off? How were you able to book Nightmare Freddy? Like I'm a big fan of the monsters.
I've known Doug for a pretty long time through the the New Jersey scene, and I've stayed in contact with him these last couple of years because I reconnected with him when Jack Sabbath had him and Psycho Sid for an autograph signing, and I knew that I should just kind of dig my claws in there a little bit because I love the gimmick too. I love all of the wing characters and stuff like that. I've used the Headhunters 3 times in the last 6 or 7 years, so that shows how much I even care about that world. And we reconnected. He did an appearance recently through that guy Uncle Charlie, and I kind of hooked it up in the first place, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. Headhunter, I was trying to get the Headhunters, but Headhunter B's ankle is so messed up that he can't do a match, and I was so far in to booking the Headhunters that I didn't want to be like, all right, well, since your brother's out, I'm not going to book you,
right?
Because I still wanted to have that. He's already down there in Texas, so I was like, you know what? Let me call up Doug, and he was willing to do it. So we're gonna have some very authentic wing versus ICW in 2021.
That's badass. I really popped for that match.
And for you guys to even get I can't wait for me to get that photo op.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nightmare Freddy and Headhunter A in 2021 with a fucking cool background or something like that.
Yeah.
That promo poster y'all put out was fucking sick. I'll send it over to Josh.
The random with them in the Zubas.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was insane. Well, not only that, I'm talking about the match promo too, because you've got him in there with Satu Jin and Neil Diamond Cutter.
Oh, the one with the claws?
Yeah, the promo poster.
Oh, okay. Because there's a couple that they put out.
Yeah.
He also put out the one of Nightmare Freddy going down a slide in Zubaz.
Yeah, that one was hilarious.
Yeah. That's actually Headhunter A in the background too.
Right. So here's a great question. Mark wants to know when you're going to put the Kirks over.
I've unfortunately put the Kirks over twice already.
I was going to say I think the Kirks are pretty over. I think they're winning the game,
and they're 2-0 against me.
And I mean, no holds barred, unlucky 13. Casey Kirk, holy shit! Right?
Actually, they're 3-0 against me.
Right?
Damn, I forgot about that one. Shit.
Like, I mean, not to knock anybody else in the match, but might have been the MVP of that match. Like, she was fucking beast.
She was.
That was crazy.
She's so much tougher than Brandon. Let's be honest. You could look at those two and be like, oh, she definitely wears the pants in that fucking relationship, right?
What did you think of Brandon wrestling Psycho Clown in the Hurricane?
Oh, it was definitely interesting to watch. I like to laugh at him looking uncomfortable. Any type of Kirk pain is entertaining to me.
A lot of people don't like the Kirks.
But a lot of people love to not like the Kirks.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the poster we were talking about.
Yeah, this one's pretty cool.
This is actually my thing. Like, so I have this whole. You have all these different levels of who you put where and why. Like, one thing you're very good at is positioning people to help them elevate each other. Like, and Satu Jin is to me one of, I would say, a secret ingredient of ICW, because when you put Satu Jin in there with people, like, that match is going to be a good match, and it doesn't even have to be Satu Jin that takes the brunt of the damage or gives it. Like,
he's a huge team player. I'm very fortunate to have Satu backstage and inside the ring or the pit. He delivers from the second he gets to the building to the second he leaves.
Yeah. He's a cool. I mean, he's talented as fuck too. Like,
yeah.
When you look at a guy like Satu Jin, when he first comes to the curtain, a lot of people will just write him off, like, right out of the gate. But when you talk about, like,
it's the entrance music. I hate that fucking music. Chop Suey. No one wants to listen to Chop Suey in 2021.
And what's crazy to me, so when we went to IWA a while back, one of the Borracho crew was actually in IWA, Luchador Insane, and he fought in a match with Dale Patricks, Satu Jin, and Otis Kogar. And a lot of when he came back and was talking to us about it, he was like, Satu Jin was killer in the locker room, in the match. Like, he had a lot of high regards for Satu Jin specifically, and I thought that's
Satu's a good egg across the board.
I love it.
What about Satu Jin versus Ruben out the fucking gate?
Oh,
that shit blew my mind when we got there. Like, we had done so much traveling there to get there that day, and if for those that don't know, Ruben was late. Like, Ruben was rushing into that show. Like, their plane had an issue, and he was running in there. And they walked out and had, in my opinion, match of that pit fighter for sure.
Oh, I had to do it again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I was forced to do it again. Also, shout out to Ruben, because these San Antonio shows are not going to be the same without him performing on them. When we decided to do San Antonio, Ruben wasn't hurt yet. I wish that the stars aligned that this could have been his comeback show, or, obviously have him a part of it in a physical way. But just like any other injury, there's a reason for injuries to happen. And I always say that sometimes people need to put the, press on the brake for a minute or two and, recoup. Yeah, and I could definitely reassure anybody listening to this that Ruben's spot in ICW is as secure as it's ever been. And his stock can only go up because people are going to miss him. You know what I mean? People probably miss him.
We already do. Yeah, we already do.
Of course. And he's definitely this is just me looking from all the way here, but only, like, I'm obviously an avid watcher of IWTV. He's by far the MVP deathmatch guy of your area now.
Oh yeah, there's
Ruben, then there's a very large gap, and then there's some of these other guys that are going to be debuting and stuff like that. But Ruben was the guy.
So, what plans did you have in mind for Ruben now that it's not gonna happen? I mean,
I could really break you. I could really break your heart.
No,
just do it. Just do it. Fuck it.
Sadiko is not going to get that title shot.
I fucking knew it. I knew it, man. I knew it. I've been shooting Danny texts forever. I was like, we need Ruben versus Murdoch. Come on, man.
We were gonna do Ruben versus Murdoch, non-title in the pit, in AC, to give them a little bit of a test run, and then we were gonna do it in the chains for the belt in San Antonio.
Oh,
and I was gonna do Sadika versus Schlack, and I told too many people, and then that popped up at another show, and they only had a couple of chairs and one door.
Right.
Yeah. So down the line, Schlack versus Sadika will be done correctly in the chains with a shitload of tubes and danger for everyone involved.
So when
like how he just throws that in there at the end.
When are we gonna get Ruben versus Danny?
Me versus Ruben? No, he would hurt me. I don't like wrestling the ones that hurt.
Man, and Ruben's insane. Like as nice of a guy he is, he's
so great of a guy.
But when you talk about people that are crazy in the brain, I want to transition over to Neil Diamond Cutter, because that's somebody that you really.
That's the other thing that, like, you were putting over Satu, and I appreciate you putting over Satu when we were talking about that tag match. But if we're gonna talk about a fucking nutcase and a guy that's hot as hell right now, Neil Diamond Cutter, across the board.
Neil Diamond Cutter is absolutely insane. Like, just being in different shows this year, we've had several chances to kind of interact with him as a human being, and you never really know like where Neil's brain is at.
Honestly, like we'll all hang out after shows and stuff like that, and before shows, and obviously when we're on the road at shows and stuff like that, like the Florida shows, and picture a very large group of who you would think that large group is walking down the street. I really feel that Neil is the most scariest out of every one of us.
Yes.
Like to the person across the street, they're going to be like, yo, who the fuck is that little one?
He's crazy.
He definitely looks like he's killed people and put them underneath, like, a boardwalk or something.
Yeah, we've had him on the show too, and that was eye-opening. He's totally out of fucks.
Oh yeah. He's a bitter little fucker too.
He's got like a crazy level of knowledge. Like at Power Blow, we were back there trying to build some shit for heavy metal, and he just walks up. He's like, "No, guys, like this, do this," and like he just starts jamming tubes and duct tape everywhere, and he just stands there like, "You got it? Okay, I gotta go." And just leave.
Did you guys notice how tight the chains were in Indianapolis?
Yes.
Neil just grabs this fucking tool that no one else could be able to figure out how to use, and then all of a sudden you have Justin Kyle climbing on fucking chains.
Neil just knows so much stuff. Like he just comes out of nowhere and he's like, "Oh, by the way,
yeah."
And he's like a historian, isn't he? Like he's got a lot of.
He's definitely a deathmatch historian. He definitely he's very passionate about the history and guys coming up the right way, and obviously he's very protective of his own spot, which is totally fine, but he's very protective of guys dipping in and not, like, he wanted to beat the shit out of Akira because, like, obviously Akira's road has been a little bit easier than Neil's. You know what I mean? Like Neil was grinding for long time. That Prince of the Deathmatches was like 11 years ago or something like that.
2011, yep.
And he'll tell you himself that he doesn't count making it until like now, like since the ICW boom for him. I'm not saying ICW is what made him, because he definitely caught my eye when he was on the rise real fast, and I was lucky enough to get my hands on Neil. but his confidence level is through the roof right now, and that's what's really producing these matches.
I like how Neil is kind of a teacher. Like, if you really observe Neil and how he communicates, like, Neil's always trying to teach somebody something. Like, you'll
absolutely,
and he's like, oh, by the way, actually, and
he makes every opponent better.
Yeah,
and you need those type of guys. So why don't we move on to Justin Kyle? What do you guys think of Justin Kyle?
I love him.
I like Justin Kyle. I think Justin Kyle brings a huge piece of the puzzle to ICW. And not only that, ICW in Indianapolis, he proved he can do a death match if he really wants to.
Oh, yeah. And he didn't want to jump into that death match world because he didn't want to disrespect the guys in it, which I totally understand.
Right.
But, I mean, the dude is sky's the limit. The only thing that's on, like, the only thing that I could say that hurt Justin Kyle was not getting into the game sooner. Like, he's a little bit older than, somebody that just starting out. But, I got a hold of him when he had 294 followers on Instagram. No shit. I remember that because I was like, yo, this dude is so fresh. But if it works once, I know that this is the type of dude that I need around. Like, I caught that from just one little highlight clip, and I was like, and I booked him against Nolan in the pit, and I was like, yo, this is my type of guy. And I like bad motherfuckers, and that's a bad motherfucker inside and outside of the ring. He almost took down Teddy Hart and in Florida, and he didn't know who Teddy Hart even was. He just knew that Teddy Hart was a guy that was upsetting me.
Can we get the scoop on that situation since you brought it up?
Absolutely. So you guys were watching the show, I'm sure. So I was sitting on the stage, so where the hard camera was facing the cage. And I was looking at my phone for a split second because I got some type of text or something on my phone, drew my eyes to my phone instead of the cage. All of a sudden, I could look like in my peripheral vision of my phone, and I see the pants walking like in front of me. And then before I could even look up, I hear Ron behind me. Is that fucking Teddy Hart walking by? And I looked at him. I was like, what are you, stupid? And then I turned around, and it's Teddy in front of me trying to shake my hand. I was like, Teddy, get to the back right now. What the fuck are you doing here? Go. Because I just wanted to get him away from people because, A, he's unmasked.
Right.
The only person in there without a mask. And he's on the hard camera, and he's Teddy Hart, and I don't want him there. So I get him in the back. I go, Teddy, why are you here? He goes, oh, I came here to try to squash some beef between you. And he started, like, naming his fucking... I was like, Teddy, why are you here? No one asked you. I was like...
Didn't you hear him?
And then he's like, I want to do business with you. I was like, Teddy, that's long gone. Like, you got to get out of here. And then I was like, Teddy, please just leave. So now it's in between shows, and he like ruined the main event for me because I had to deal with him during the main event of the show. And it's in between shows, like we're cleaning up and blah, blah, blah. And I'm told Teddy Hart won't leave the building unless he gets to say goodbye to you. So I go out there, I go, this is what we have to do in front of everybody right now. Everybody needs to see us shake each other's hands so you could leave.
Yeah.
And then he goes, Danny, I don't have any I go, but I have animosity towards you because you're wasting my fucking time.
Yeah.
Get out of the fucking building. And then I walk away from him. And then about like 2 minutes later, I'm sure you guys know Ring Crew Ryan or Weapons Master Ryan or he's one of my right-hand man. He comes over to me. He goes, I don't want you to freak out, but John Wayne Murdoch just broke a stick in half because Teddy Hart won't leave the front of the building, and he's walking towards the front of the building. So then I start running towards the front of the building, and I get out there, and John Wayne's going towards Teddy, like yelling things his direction, and then he looks back at me like a kid that just got in trouble, and I was like, no, don't stop on my fucking behalf. Go back at him. Keep going at him. We're gonna pound him into the ground. And then so Murdoch turned up even more. I told Struggles to turn his camera on. The video that got out was Struggles' camera.
Nice.
And then once I was like, "Are you recording?" He goes, "Yep." I go, "Yeah," and that's when I started going Teddy's way. And then Teddy was like, "Which one are you gonna fucking fight me?" I was like, "Fight me, motherfucker. If you want to fight anybody, fight me. But if one thing happens to me, every one of these people are gonna fucking stomp you into a ground." And then Murdoch hit the line of, "You know you won't fight any of us because we're not a fucking girl, you stupid motherfucker." And that didn't get on camera. That happened like right after the video cut off. So like that's where Teddy Hart landed. Him and his he had like 3 hookers with him. Like he had 3 hookers and a camera crew. And we got word that he pretty much has a dislike for Brett and I because we both turned our back on him, aka we stopped using him because he's a toxic piece of shit.
Yeah.
So he went to WrestleMania weekend to show up at Brett's show and show up at my show separately and try to get us in as much. Brett let him in, and Brett let him stay there for 2 full shows.
Yeah.
I know that Teddy was hard. It was hard to get him out of my building, but it took me 15 minutes. But it was hard. Like he's a manipulator. He'll say anything that he needs to say to try to like babyface you. But I've been through this with him for years upon years. He was a shithead to me in Jersey All Pro in 2007, and all that shit has always stuck with me. And he's always been a problem. He was a problem when Brett and I were running GCW together. I didn't know why Brett ever even wanted to use the guy other than how talented he was. But, how many Janela Teddy Hart matches are you going to go? Like, how often are they going to kill it that you have to deal with all that extra shit?
Right. So let's transition back to somebody that I love to talk about and one of the only deathmatch guys we've had on the pit, John Wayne Murdoch.
Oh, we had no cutter.
Well, we've had NDC and we had John Wayne Murdoch. John Wayne Murdoch was with us a few months back.
Never been.
I know you love John Wayne Murdoch. Like he's your boy. Talk to me about how that relationship developed.
How the relationship developed in GCW. Reed and Murdoch were definitely like me guys when I was a part of that company, and that very much showed in the booking if you guys were to think back at it. And there was a time when they missed a booking because a rental fell through or whatever, and Brett held that very much against them. And I had a lot of animosity towards that situation because I felt like they got the short end of the stick because they were my type of guys. I mean, they were just my guys, and then obviously when I did the split with me and GCW, I went through a period of time that I was running, those traditional boring, indie shows, like where there's just like good matches.
Yeah.
And at one point I was like, you know what? This is not what I want to be doing. I want to be doing what I was doing. I want to do death matches. I want to be back in the community. I miss what I wanted to do. And I knew that I had to put a stock in somebody that was not going to be there.
Yeah.
And I knew that Murdoch would not work for Brett, even if Brett was to offer it to him because of how he was treated previously. And I think I've always thought very highly of Murdoch. The first time Murdoch got on my radar, I watched his first match with Gage at King of the Deathmatch out of when Gage first got out of jail. I was like, this dude is amazing. Yep. Same with Reed. I feel the same about both of them. It's just that Murdoch's very all in for the company, and I'm not saying that Reed isn't, but Reed has a lot of real life obligations that doesn't allow him to be able to be as much on the radar. as Murdoch. I knew that I needed my guy, and I decided that John and Eric Ryan were going to be my guys before No Holds Barred won. And as you guys saw, I went in the ring and I did my little promo right after their match. And what happened after that?
Move forward. John Wayne Murdoch, full effect. Eric Ryan.
Full effect.
Yeah.
And they were the forgotten. They were the absolute forgotten at that point.
Yeah.
They weren't even being used, at the top level deathmatch shows. Eric Ryan wasn't even in King of the Deathmatch that year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? John wasn't even working with Ian at the time because his value wasn't even at that point that he would have to be able to have the power to deal with a guy like Ian.
Right.
But now John's back there, but he's a star. He's the star of the company now.
A workhorse. I mean, he's a workhorse everywhere he goes.
Absolutely. And I'm very lucky to obviously have him too. He's such a locker room leader on every level of the game. I don't have to deal. Everybody that travels with him, I don't even have to deal with them. Like, they get booked through him. He handles the travel. I'll hand him 6 room keys and say, figure it out. And I don't even have to go to the hotel. Like, I go to the hotel, I'll check in 6 rooms. I'll take these 6 room keys back to John Wayne Murdoch, and then I don't look at the room keys again. Like, he's that type of leader.
Wow.
Yeah. He's a cool dude. I think just the level that he goes to for the sport. I mean, the Canadian Destroyer with Oren out of the barn, that was crazy.
Yeah. It was.
I mean, we watched that. All of us came out of our chairs. I mean, it was like that. That's a moment that nobody else has really done something.
What a show that was, by the way.
Wasn't it?
That's 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That 6 just hits differently for me.
Yep. Atticus versus Reed in that
one.
Oh,
the whole show.
Oh, yeah.
The whole show. It just, there was something, and it was like you knew it was coming too. That day, like we were like, yo, there's just a different feeling in the air right now.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, and it wasn't even a stacked lineup, like as far as on a money end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was elite level lineup. Was that Eric Ryan Akira? No. It was. No.
Was it?
Fuck. I think it is. I think Eric Ryan Akira opened that show.
That's the one where Eric Ryan stomped him out and Akira was giving him the finger the whole way.
Oh, it was amazing.
I
was chasing that Akira match for a long time after that. Same thing with Alex Ocean and Eric Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Remember how great that was?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when you did the 3-way, you threw in Oren for a 3-way. That was the first ever 3-way at what was that, 8?
Yeah, Eric Ryan likes 3-ways. He's weird.
Yeah.
I think 3-ways are the hardest matches to ever do because there's an odd man at all times.
Yeah.
Like, you're always having to watch your back, and they're always going to have to be like this odd person out or a double team or something. Yeah, you just have to get more creative.
So my last question here is, as the promoter, like as the guy running the show, when that spot goes for Murdoch and Oren, the Destroyer off the top of the barn, like as they go for the jump, like what are you thinking in that moment?
Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself. Okay, it looks like they're okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, especially when it comes to John, because he pushes the envelope so fucking far every time. It's like remember the 2x4 with Shane Mercer?
Yep.
In Florida, like, what the fuck, man? He scares the shit out of me on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Hey, could I do fire? No, it's just gonna be a little fire.
Just a little fire.
And then all of a sudden,
where do you go from here? What's next for ICW?
Well, today was a very productive day. I went to a very early morning building meeting for a newer building in Jersey City. So fingers crossed there. It went well. There just got to be some T's crossed and I's dotted. A little other inside scoop. I might have a Chicago building lined up.
Ooh, man.
But that's in the early stages. So let's keep those fingers crossed. And there's definitely going to be an Indianapolis return in the fall.
Marion County Fairgrounds is a nice venue.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It seems like that's probably not going to be where we're going back to. We're probably going to go to a little bit smaller of a venue just so, the aesthetic looks a little better.
Sure.
When the world really, really opens back up, I would love to go back to the fairgrounds with like a over the top headliner type thing. You know what I mean? Like don't quote me on this. I'm just using it as like a level, but like if I brought over Kasai and Takeda at the same time,
God damn.
Like you need a building like that to like, yeah. I'm just using them as an excuse. I don't want there to be like a rumor.
The rumors are starting.
Oh, it's going. It's going.
There's no rumor. I mean, the
Sorry,
rumor you could start a rumor that Takeda's coming back to ICW because that's 100%. It's just whenever the fuck it's allowed to happen, it's happening.
I need my card signed. Well, this is my favorite part, Danny. I didn't tell you about this one.
We never do. We never tell the guests.
This is our last segment of the show. We've gone a little over. Thank you so much for your time. We call this the go home segment. What basically that means is each of us are going to ask you 3 random questions. They may be wrestling related. They may not be. Most of them won't be. And you have like 5 to 10 seconds to answer them. They're just random off the top of the dome. So
this sounds easy enough.
It'll be a total of 10 because I'm going to ask 4, and so I'll start. I usually end it, but we're going to do it a little different since there's 3 of us. So I'm going to ask 4. They'll ask 3 each, so that'll give us a 10 count.
How did you get the extra one? The fuck?
He's got a special question.
My name's on the show. I'm just.
He's got the big question we all fight about.
We'll talk about it when we get to it.
All right.
So first question though, are you ready to go home? Like that one doesn't count, but that's how we started.
I'm home already.
Perfect. So yes. What's the most ridiculous fact you know?
Most ridiculous fact I know. Fuck. Wow, this is like a brain. I know how to breed African cichlid fish, which is very weird, and I learned it over the pandemic. So let's go with that. It's more of a skill.
Perfect.
All right. If you were clocked by a radar, how fast do you think you could rollerblade if your life depended on it?
0 miles an hour.
I
would fall standing up.
I'd get 6 feet because I'm 6 feet tall. Like that. That's as far as I would get.
I'd fall backwards probably. I'd probably 0 inches.
Negative 6 feet.
Yes.
There you go.
Would you rather have the speed of a cheetah or the climbing skills of a monkey?
Ooh, speed of the cheetah though, for sure.
Ooh, good one.
What's the weirdest thing a guest has done at your house? Which should possibly be
Pinky Sanchez stole my used deodorant once.
All right. How many M&Ms are on average in a bag?
Shit, what type of bag? You got
a normal bag.
Size?
A normal bag.
I'd say probably like between 25 and 35.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not. It's way more than that. I think it's like 57.
Is it really in a regular size bag?
Yeah. How many are in a small bag? Yeah. The average is. Oh no. Yeah. 57.
Wow. 57 in a regular. So the king size is probably like 80.
Yeah. That's my guess.
Damn.
Okay. For your tacos, flour or corn?
Oh.
I would go flour. Damn, that sounded like a bad response.
That hurt him a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally open to trying new things though in Texas.
We'll show you the best taco place in San Antonio.
Well, I heard that Packing Princess has already reserved for you guys to show this to us.
Yeah, we got something going on. We'll take you to a good place.
Taqueria West, baby.
She will drag me wherever there's the good food. So she's the boss.
If you were arrested with no explanation, what were your friends think you did?
Oh, I definitely got caught with weed in a weed state that doesn't allow it.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. That shit is real. That is a struggle.
It's happened 3 times already.
If you had to call one person that you knew was going to answer, no matter what time of day.
My mother.
Okay.
She would always
my mom won't answer.
I was going to say the exact opposite. If you said call, if they didn't need to pick up, I'm like, my mom. She never answered.
No, my mother picks up that phone every single time. And anytime she thinks I call, there's a problem. It's like, hey, are you okay?
What's wrong?
Why are you calling? Oh, okay. I'm just calling to see how you are. Okay. I'm dead on the side of the road the second she sees my name pop up on that caller ID. And I talk to her almost every day. It's wild.
If your mom and your grandma had a fist fight, who will win?
Ooh. There's so many variables there, but I would put my mother over on top. If we're talking prime versus prime, I would say my mother would definitely beat my grandmother up. My mother's crazy. She's a very large influence on my craziness.
Very cool. So the final question, which is usually we ask different questions to everyone, but the final question is always the same, like they referred to. We ask the same question to every guest. And of course, here we feel there is a right or wrong answer. Do pineapples go on pizza?
No.
What?
Yes. Yes. Victory.
I don't think that anything cold that's served cold
he left.
should be going on pizza.
Man, that one hurts.
Yes. As you can tell who's on whose side.
My beating heart. Fuck.
And I tried all that weird pizza stuff when I was a kid because I was a big fan of Ninja Turtles. I was like, Mom, I really need to try sardines on pizza.
Yeah.
She's like, do you know what sardines are? I was like, it doesn't matter. The Ninja Turtles say that you need to have sardine pizza, peanut butter and jelly pizza.
You gotta try. That's how it is. When you see it on TV, you gotta try it.
You gotta try peanut butter and jelly pizza if you watch the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Danny DeManto, thank you so much for joining us today. I know we've kept you a lot longer than I said, but we
totally
appreciate
fine.
the conversation.
Totally fine. I appreciate you guys. And I appreciate you guys staying in contact with Tim Poe and Ryan and getting all these weapons situated.
I got a closet full of shit over here. I'm not this shit.
I get every update every step of the way. Believe me.
Man, I was so disappointed. I have 12 songs that were supposed to show up today, and I was going to show you, and they're stuck in the mail to be here tomorrow. So now they don't.
I'm sure they're coming.
They're coming. But yeah, I mean, for those of y'all that are still watching with us, August 13th is the Pit in San Antonio at 502 Bar. The next night, the 14th, is No Holds Barred. That's actually over at the Vibe Event Center. Man, there's great stacked cards. We've done a lot of talking about them, and now's the time to get the tickets.
Let's get it.
Thank you so much for joining us, man. We appreciate you.
All right, man. Appreciate you guys.
Danny, see you soon, brother.
Later, dude.
Man. Oh, man, what a great interview.
Victory is mine.
We went, fuck that. That's crazy. That's crazy. When he comes down here, we're going to have to talk. Maybe we'll just bring him a bunch of pineapple pizza and be like, all right, we'll try this one. No? Oh, okay, we'll try this one.
I think he said he tried it and didn't like it. I don't know if you caught that.
That's wild. That's wild. It sucks. Most of the time, it's Josh that loses when one of us is dedicated to a guest. More often than not, Josh finds himself on the wrong side, but today it was me.
Like Matthew said, though, that's 3 deathmatch guys that have said no to pineapple on pizza.
But seriously, though, for those of y'all that are still out there, make sure you come get your tickets. Come party with us in San Antonio. He was not lying. The Borrachos crew has been doing a lot of talks with the weapons people for ICW, trying to get some shit here for them so they don't have to fly everything down. So we're sitting on a lot of the stuff that they're going to build, and I got to tell you, it's fucking gnarly. Get your tickets. Scott Summers, Masada, Neil Diamond Cutter, everybody's going to be there. It's going to be a whole-ass weekend. I can't talk enough about this. Please, please, please come get your tickets. And don't forget, 502 Bar has that badass drink special, a tall boy and a shot for $5. You can get a Jameson and a Guinness, $5. A dose and tequila, $5. John Hammer, I cannot wait to fucking see you, dog. I'm so excited to see everybody that we saw back in February when we came to Florida. This time y'all are coming to our turf. I'll stop rambling. That's my spiel for today.
Thank y'all for watching. See ya.